Next up, we have a presentation from Melissa Love with Sundt Construction, enhancing Precon. Come on out.
All right. So enhancing Precon, or what I call predictability. And so I'm Melissa Love with Sundt Construction. Let's even get this working. Perfect. Project Controls Manager. So Sundt Construction, we're headquartered in Tempe, Arizona, and we are 100% employee owned. So every success that we see through this presentation as a company, I'm very proud to say 100% employee owned. And we have 4 large profit centers. So we have TBIC, which is transportation, building, industrial, and mining, as well as a self-performed concrete group, as well as recently renewables. So I am part of the building group. I am the project controls manager for the Precon department. And you may be asking yourself, what the heck is that? And so I'll get there eventually, but I'll first start with an intro of myself. So I was born into construction, right? My first memories are on a job site trailer as aftercare with whatever project my father was on at the time. But before even forming memories, right, this is me at 6 months, and that's in a Georgia Tech onesie. So I was born for construction. It started before I could even form memories. And you can see it continued here with more paraphernalia and subliminal messages behind Georgia Tech. To hell with Georgia. So go Jackets. So, and it wasn't just in the paraphernalia, but also like my first memories, I remember being in elementary school and the assignment was a diorama. And if you can remember what that is, it's like a shoe box where you put, little memorabilia, maybe some grass and sand, but like not in the Einbinder household. We lived for projects. And so that diorama turned into a 6-story brownstone replica where you could pull out every level, and every level was a different scene of the book because that's just how we did it. So I always wanted to exceed expectations through building and construction. So fast forward 10 years, and I graduate from the Georgia Institute of Technology, go Jackets, with a building and construction degree. And so then I ventured out to where every young individual should go with now making as much money as you've ever seen at the time, and that's to Las Vegas, Nevada. And so I got to work on one of the largest private developments at the time as an engineer, and man, that was a learning experience. And so I got to see the height of the market, building one of the largest casinos at the time, to then watching the economy crumble. And luckily for me, I was transferred back to my home state of Arizona, where I finished out a few more hospitality projects. When an opportunity for Sundt came up in their Precon department, and joined Sundt. And one of the first days I was there with the company, I was pulled aside and said, if you want to advance in pre-construction, or even here as a company, we innovate. You're going to want to learn this software, use the software, love it, and build within it. And that was, any guesses? Deprofiler. That was the way we marketed. That was the way we estimated. If you wanted to be new school construction, you were in Deprofiler. And so my role as project controls manager at Preconstruction is to pretty much lend any and all help to advancing our pre-construction department to uphold our mission statement at Sundt, which is to be the most skilled builder in America. And the most skilled builder starts in pre-construction. And so within pre-construction, my focus every day, as well as my fellow employee owners, is to provide clients with predictable outcomes. But with more projects through the door, with increased complexity, this isn't good enough anymore. And I'm sure you can all relate now, it is to provide quick and responsive, predictable outcomes. Right, so my job now as project controls manager is to seek out opportunities for improvement and to solve for them through innovation. And innovation is so important to my role, as well as the companies, that we've actually revised our core values to now incorporate innovation. We have a department that specifically looks at innovation, as well as the tools that I'll show you guys today that we've developed over the last 2 years. Go back. So there's a strategic advantage in providing and creating these technologies that we're going to talk about today. And in essence, helping us to provide efficiency into predictability. And so the tools that I'm gonna present today are Sundt CMT, which we call or coined Sundt Cost Modeling Tool, where we take our own historical data and then we're then able to produce cost modeling as well as baselining current estimates. We also have developed a estimate comparison and DEL dashboard in Power BI, and DEL is Design Evolution Log that we'll get into in the slides to come, as well as software enhancement. So we've worked real closely with Beck Technology and further enhancing our software. Any estimate that leaves our door is in DEstimator, and the tools that we'll show you today are from the data or the structured data that we've created in DEstimator. We also have project story polls, which creates consistency in how we do takeoffs as well as estimating. Parametric assemblies, which allows us to build very detailed estimates off little to no information, as well as just some really simple tools to make our team more efficient, like a deliverable template. So anything that leaves our door is consistently branded Sundt. So the first one is our Sundt CMT app, and again, it's our historical data on estimates that we have done in DEstimator. What we do is to build a cost model, we pull out specific project subtypes. So subtypes would be hospitality, office, and we're then able to align them, escalate them on both time and location, and then provide within minutes a cost model built around your mixed use project, as well as for our pre-construction team, they can take their estimate and baseline that off of what we've built in the past. And so I'll run you through a quick example. So when a user starts within Sundt CMT, they see a similar screen to this, and they're able to search around what project they're building. And so one of the biggest challenges have been we are doing more mixed-use projects that have a hospitality, a residential, as well as an office, for example. So in this example here, we're going to show you how to build a hospitality and office project. So a user would select hospitality, and then every project that's in our database that we have built over the course of, in this particular case, the last 10 years, will get pulled up. You're able to filter it on structure type as well as location and date. And you'll select either all projects or projects that you know that are specific to the one you're building. You'll make that selection. It'll bring you back to the original screen. You'll go in this example and select office. Select the projects that you want to take over. You'll also able to pull up the quantity divisor. So you can see these projects based on cost per square foot, hospitality, cost per key. You'll select, and then you are able to then filter by different work breakdown structure or cost breakdown structure. So we can see estimates in bid package, CSI, unit format. We even have our own Sundt-based systems format that we like to evaluate estimates in. And then you're able to escalate or de-escalate based on location. And within minutes, you can then export that data out to Excel. And so I don't want to discount Excel here. We still love Excel. In fact, I love the fact that the app keeps our department structured, and then once that data is exported, you can do whatever you want with it in Excel. So it allows that flexibility for an estimator, and even more importantly, our business development team to then create these estimates. So this is a summary sheet of everything that we produced on that front-end user interface. And where we drive this information is in the back. So if you recognize here, this was, I believe, the office component where we brought in those 4 projects. It aligns them, it escalates them on time and location. And then off to the left is your new project. And so you're able to put in the square footage. It then produces your cost model. And because it's in Excel, you can manipulate it from there. So a lot of projects that may have anomalies in them that you want to exclude, it'll do that for you. This screen here was the hospitality selection that we made. But really, it's not just the cost that's really important. It's to understand how we got the cost for that project. So behind all this data and behind the cost are what we call project attributes. So every project that we selected, here are all the high-level metrics behind them. And this is really powerful for our business development team, right, who gets rocks through the windows every day. And now they don't have to come to the Precon department to ask us to cost model. They can do that on their own because they feel confident in the information that we've archived here. They don't have to go into a network drive and go find a bunch of files and folders and figure out what the heck that project was even about, because they can dive into the attributes and see here that this building has an extremely high cost per square foot for exterior because the whole thing was unitized. The whole building was glass, and so that's where they can figure out here. And so it not only makes our company more efficient. For example, if our business development team wants to go in and build a cost model, they don't have to come to the Precon department. They can do that on their own. They have the confidence in it, and they can find all the information within minutes. But for our estimating team, they can utilize this app to now baseline their estimates. So whatever deliverable that they're turning in, they can baseline their cost model next to their estimate and see perhaps where the outliers occur. And then they can evaluate risk that way. So that's our Sundt CMT app. Our next biggest development is how to visually be transparent with our project teams and how we compare estimates and tell the estimates life cycle. So in this screen here, an estimator will choose one project, they'll dump 2 estimates and link them, and right here it shows us on a high level, what is the story between estimate 1 to estimate 2. And you can get as detailed as you want in this Power BI dashboard to be able to explain how we got from past to current. And this is an example of how detailed that we can get. So we can keep it high level for an owner, or we can get right into the details. So this tool's pretty powerful for an estimator, because now they don't have to get into Excel and line every line item together. They can just pour this into the Power BI dashboard, and even more powerful is we can quickly, because of the structured data that we now house in Data Manager, we can then align up to the detailed level like this. And we can sort it based on bid package, systems, uniformat, and CSI within seconds, just by a click of a button. But we can also keep it high level for certain owners if they want to go ahead and look at this based on, I think this one is in CSI level 1, as well as start looking at them on cost per square foot as well. So you get to tell whatever story you want as the estimator in describing your story through this Power BI dashboard. But it doesn't stop there. We've now told you how we got from the past to the current, but now we have to tell how we're gonna get to the future through our design evolution log, or what most call like a VE log. So this is a particular project where we had hundreds of line items where we were design managing kind of through this process. So to me, it's not just a value engineering log. Anything that goes into this list are any design changes that happen from each design milestone. So anything that is gonna change, even if it has no cost associated with it, is gonna go into this log. And then we're gonna go with the entire team and walk through what's gonna be accepted, potential, or rejected. And the beauty of this Power BI dashboard is it's published to the entire team. So an owner who's located, and some of our owners are located outside of the country, it's published to them so they can get in here, they can select what items they want to play with, and they can automatically see the cost adjusted. And so that's really powerful when you're trying to sell transparency to an owner, that they not only understand the story of past to present and future, but they get to go in there and make those changes as well. And so any change that the team makes, remotely or in person, then gets transferred onto this summary sheet, and again, within a click of a button, you can sort and get into as much detail as possible. So that's been really powerful for our estimating team to be able to, within minutes, link estimates to this Power BI dashboard and then tell a really transparent story to our owners and our design teams and our entire project team. The next big advancement has been in the software that you guys are in now, which is auto pricing. So all of our data is housed internally. We host all of our data. And the biggest change for that has been small things. Like when we go in, we go through our portal, and every time an estimator logs on, they're in the latest and greatest version of Estimator. And that is just huge, because in the past, people have called me, I'm running into some issues, what do? I say, okay, what version are you on? Okay, that's from 2 years ago. How do you not have the latest and greatest version? So now we don't even have to worry about that anymore. When you log in, you are in the latest and greatest. It also is a single source. So if there is a person in the company that's looking for a project, they don't have to go search through our network drives. They now jump onto DEstimator, look up the name. Not only is the name there in the project, but every version of that estimate is there for them. So this is really powerful for the future, because if someone goes into somebody else's estimate, jumps into that version, the document set's there, the takeoff's there, as well as the estimate. And that is hours of non-value adding time that we have now saved for our entire company. And so I'm up here talking about innovation and these big technology and changes, but sometimes it's the really small things that make us more efficient day to day. So we have a team that's rotating through a younger estimating team, and so how do you explain to them how we should consistently estimate? And so we've gone ahead and just produced some really simple templates in Excel to try to explain how we estimate. And even our more seasoned estimators, it makes us more consistent in how we're estimating. And the power of this simple Excel template is it speaks directly to what's next in our development, which is our parametric estimating assemblies. And so we are a pretty diverse company with lots of project types. So we have a pretty robust database on parametric assemblies. So much so that we've actually created 2 types of assemblies. One is parametric, so you have little information, but you want to build a very detailed estimate. Or what we call actual assemblies, which is I can go do a full takeoff, but I don't want to spend the time putting 20 line items in, for example, for a basement. So you get to choose where you're at in your design. And in this particular case, this would be a parametric assembly for a basement. So you go in, You put about, we'll call it 10 or so variables. Most of them are defaulted by projects that we know of in the past. And within a few minutes of filling out those variables, you can quickly and easily be able to then pull in about 30 line items that are associated with a below grade parking basement. And so that's really powerful and time saving. And those that haven't been in estimating for a while, there's confidence knowing that we have built 10 basements and the assemblies that we built are around those as well. And so this is one of the more simpler advancements that we have, but also reminding that innovation doesn't always have to be these big technologies and softwares. It can be small things that will save our estimating team some time. And this is just a simple deliverable template in Microsoft Publisher that's been branded by our marketing department. We spend a lot of money and a lot of time making sure that anything that leaves our doors is branded correctly and looks good. But what I found in my role as a pre-construction project controls manager is even though we're all one Sundt, our California office, I'm in Arizona, and our Texas, we were submitting things that looked all over the place. And so this is really easy. It's live, you can make changes, but it's branded Sundt, and so anything that leaves our door looks the same way. You can manipulate photos or text, but it's branded correctly, and it's consistent whenever we send out to an owner. And so hopefully what I've portrayed today is that if we want to provide first-class pre-construction services, we need to innovate. In fact, 80% of our business is with repeat clients. So it's really important that we create collaborative teams, we show the vision, we not only build projects that are, fulfill schedule and cost and safety and quality, but as Precon, that we really create this team collaboration and we're able to provide predictable outcomes. So what does the future look like? I think we've done a really good job at kind of selling our as-bought pricing and the tools around that. But I think the next steps are how do we get lessons learned and as-built pricing back to the pre-construction department? Because right now it really stops with an individual or a particular project team. And so what I'm really focused on in this next year is how do we get those lessons learned back into Precon somewhat automatically, and then how do we get the data back as well? Data is really important to us, and that's perhaps where we fall a little bit short. So in my next year, I'm really hoping this is something that we can clearly define and create some more technologies around. And so I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes, and that is the best way to predict the future is to create it. So we always want to be on the front end of it, and hopefully I've shown you today of some of the advancements that we've had within Sundt over the course of the last few years. Thank you.